Well, service delivery has become service delivery. On the morning show this morning, holding accountable our leaders for service delivery and how effective but also inclusive it is to the citizens of the Republic of Uganda. My name is Priscilla Regina Naloga. Welcome to our Tech Note this morning, where we get to focus on the young people, the youth involvement in developing the nation. And I'm delighted to be sitting next to a young person. One has referred to him as a stubborn young person simply because he's very vocal about the issues that are challenging his counterparts, and that's all he's doing. His name is Bosco Serunkuma. He's the LC5 chairperson of Nansana. Councillor. And then, okay, so Bosco Serunkuma, councillor. And then we also do have Henry Batambula, who's Chitambula. All right, sorry about that. Henry Chitambula, who's the Deputy RDC from Mukono. And we're going to pick up the conversation from where, the predecessors actually left it off. Checking service delivery in our communities, and you are leaders being, responsible to either alleviate the wrong things and then improve on the good things. Let's start with security, and I'll start with you, Bosco Serunkuma. In Nansana, a lot of insecurity continues to encompass that area code. Most recently, we've been seeing a lot of robberies, homes, but now into public spaces. We have had so many stories of people being robbed in broad daylight, in their vehicles being attacked and robbed and things like that. So could you tell us the current state of security in Nansana right now?
Security in Nansana is really questioned, but I think the major cause of this is about the unemployed youth. I'll condemn security for always focusing on political leaders and not to the robbers and to the criminals in the areas. And when they get to the ghetto, they just arrest whoever they find in not carrying out the right investigations. Sometimes they end up taking wrong people and leaving criminals aside. I think the question of security should be geared with serious investigations by the responsible body. But there are two categories of criminality. I think they are those in our areas by our citizens, and there are those carried out by state mafias. I can't fail to mention that a few days back we carried out a press conference demanding for the release of abducted people who were abducted in November of 2020. Mm-hmm. Up to now, they are nowhere to be found, and no one is coming up with a report about them, about their whereabouts. Their parents have been demanding them. So as we talk about the insecurity in our areas done by our people, our citizens, we also need to talk about those created by state itself. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we have citizen insecurity and then we have state insecurity. Yeah. That's very interesting way of breaking it down. Deputy RDC, in Mukono, you've also dealt with cases of insecurity in the year 2022. A lot of gunpoint robbery has taken place in Mukono. And how have you been able to alleviate that challenge?
First of all, I want to thank you for hosting me, and hosting me with the very young person who is really a beneficiary of the NRM freedom, space and democracy, because he's a very big man in Wakiso district. He's a councillor representing a very good municipality, a very big one, Nansana municipality to the district. So I'm very glad, and when I see such people here, irrespective of what they say, and what they believe in, I really thank God that Uganda is moving, and I thank the President and NRM in general for really ushering in freedom of speech, freedom of expression, democracy, and so on and so forth. Yes, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. Now, first of all, there is no state engineered insecurity. That one is not there. But we have, as I said, citizen injured security. As you saw in Mukono we had some bit of gun robbery. I want to thank my team that we have really stepped on this gun robbery. As I speak now, we arrested 12 people in connection to this gun robbery. We got one gun. It was from a private security company. And we are following very many people who are involved in this, including others who are robbing without using guns, those who are using machetes, those who are using iron bars and so on and so forth. We are following them up, and we have really arrested very many. But of course, as we are entering the festive season, because December is very near, I want to appeal to Ugandans, wherever they are, especially the owners and operators of places of happenings, the bars, hotels, and what have you, those in the churches, those in the mosques, in general, whoever has very many people, including you people here, we should really tighten on checking whoever comes there, because Bacha's government has tried to step on the ADF. Of course, you never know, we could be having ruminants who may mobilize internally and cause havoc.
All right.
So since other countries are tightening and ensuring that there is access control and checking, we should really do the same here, so that we can have a very good festive season.
Bosco, you do allude to the fact that there's so many young people, especially in Nansana, that are concentrated within the municipality, and many of them are unemployed. And so perhaps that unemployment is one of the root causes.
But before that, you know...
No, first wait, Henry. Unemployment being one of the root causes of the insecurity you're talking about. So, in your perspective, could there be a relationship between poverty and the insecurity that you are actually facing in Nansana, and what could be the solution towards that?
Yeah, definitely. Poverty is one of the root causes of insecurities that happen in Nansana and in other areas of the country. I will put that on government, which has not organized us well. They create programs which never succeed and benefit the youth.
Have you signed up for any of these programs yourself?
Yeah, we do. There is that program of youth called Youth Livelihood Program. It was brought, and up to now, out of, I don't know, 6 billion and more than that was issued, but they have so far collected 300 million out of that money from the youth. They bring that money, they pour it in the community without sensitizing them about how to use it and elevate profit, and they end up not benefiting them completely.
So the bigger question for me is that if government does not act correctly, are they going to still remain unemployed? As you're a young person, what are you doing to still handle the issue of unemployment, irrespective of what government is doing or not doing?
Yeah, as a leader in my area, I've tried myself to create sources of jobs, and I'm trying to skill different youth in my area. I have a workshop of welding. I'm trying to pull out some of those unemployed youth who around me and trying to give them experience in those particular fields. I do my best in my capacity, and as well calling them, sensitizing them, carrying out activities based on sensitizing the community, more so the youth, on how they can get out of those areas of insecurity to safer areas where they can be called successful.
Service delivery from government is not aiding to remove unemployment, according to Bosco.
You know,
so in your capacity, Henry, with the initiatives that government has implemented focusing on young people, would you say that they have not perhaps delivered 100% to getting the youth out of unemployment and then therefore contributing to the cycle of a good economy for Uganda?
Before I answer that, allow me just say this. All of us here in the studios, we are from the central region here. And it is really very, very bad if somebody says, if you don't have a job, then you should commit a crime. It's very, very bad. And I cannot subscribe to that line of thinking.
And who has said that?
See,
But of course,
that's what
if someone runs,
don't put words in his mouth. Don't interpret his
he
words
said
differently.
from day one, he said some of the youth in Nansana go to commit crime because they are unemployed.
So focusing on government initiatives.
So yes, I got you very well, and I'm a very good listener. Now, but for your information, the government has done two things. To begin with, on the security that we're handling, the government came up with a law, enacted a law, the National Security Council Act 2000. And that National Security Council Act spells out the various systems through which we can handle this insecurity we are talking about, because it's the one that is bringing in the youth. And at the national level, we have the National Security Committee or Council led by the President and the ministers, Defense Secretary, and so on and so forth. At the district, we have the RDCs. In fact, even areas like Nansana municipality, where there is an RDC, there is supposed to be a municipal security committee up to the sub-county. Now, my issue, why am I bringing in this? The insecurity that we are seeing, because he said at times they arrest people without thorough investigation and so forth and so on. That means there is a gap. The leaders who are supposed to sit on these committees, because of their political interests, at times don't want to come. I'm happy in Mukono, much as we have a NOP chairperson of the district, Honorable Bakaruba Mukasa, he comes to the security committees of the district, which is good. Go to Nansana and find out, does the mayor Nansana sit on that committee? Does the chairman LC5 Wakiso district sit on the district security committee? Okay. Does the Lord Mayor of Kampala sit on the KCCA security committee? The answer is no, because I've been following this. So maybe this issue is raising, arresting youth, being suspected of committing crime without thorough investigations would be sorted out in the various security committees as established by the National Security Council Act 2000 and iron out some of these issues.
Back to service delivery.
Back on the service delivery, the government has done a lot. Actually, when you look at all of the programs that we have brought over the years, including the recent PDM, Parish Development Model, the youth have always been put at the forefront.
Parish Development Model has 30% inclusive for youth.
Yes, so, yes. 30% is a big one.
They actually started
to
achieve their political agenda.
It is a big one. It is a big one. Because for us men, we only have, men and others, we have 20%. Them with 30 and the women. So it's really, don't say it's small, it's a big percentage. When the late Samba Mugerwa brought the Ntandikwa, when Samba brought the Ntandikwa arrangement, he brought a special consideration for the youth called Youth Enterprise Scheme. And many youth really benefited from that. When we brought the YLP, which is undermining, I was in Machindi as the deputy RSS then, when the program started. Very many youth benefited from that program. I went to Namayingo during the same time when the program was being implemented. Many youth benefited. However, there were those who were given money and failed to use money for two reasons. One, they were not willing to work together. And of course, even the mindset. Somebody thinks, when we get money, I rather have my 50,000 than having 30 millions as a group. Which mindset really should change? For me, I've been interacting with very many youth in Kenya. Their cooperatives are working very well. In fact, many of them own taxis as cooperatives for the youth. Why? Because the mindset is really has changed. Now, you are talking of sensitization, and you are saying, I'm an activist. The activist and the government and whoever loves this country should join, should collectively do what we call sensitization for mindset change. In fact, in the PDM arrangement, we have a very important pillar called mindset change. And that's why this time around, we have delayed to allow the circles to use the money much as the money is already on the circle accounts, because we wanted them to, the beneficiaries, to first of all be sensitized thoroughly well. So
then I turn to Bosco and ask you, what are the challenges that your electorate's actually grappling with in accessing some of these government-initiated programs?
I need to first remind Mr. RCC that thousands of Ugandans have been registered in what he's calling PDM, and they are being put on hold because money is not in the accounts.
Money is there.
There's no money to facilitate those programs.
Money is there.
They pass those programs to achieve their political agenda, not to help our societies, our communities. So how can they?
When you say political agenda, what do you mean?
That is achieving Mr. Museveni, like achieving Mr. Museveni win in pretense of service delivery. No?
Okay. All right. So as a local leader, I know that there's a whole process to benefit from these initiatives. Sensitization is one thing, but also organization is another thing. And it trickles down to the leaders to be able to organize their constituencies, their people, to ensure that they are organized to be able to benefit from these services that are given by government. So Bosco, how are you helping the young people of Nansana get themselves organized, get themselves into groups, register themselves, and abaganda bachita kwetega for these programs to benefit, so that you can then say at the end of your tenure that these many young people actually were moved from unemployment to employment?
There are procedures which are supposed to be followed in accessing the so-called initiatives, the PDM, the Myoga, which I don't know how it ended, and many other programs.
It ended. For information, it hasn't ended.
We'll talk about the PDM.
It's good you don't know these programs, but they are moving.
I know them. The PDM, according to their agenda, the beneficiary should be the vulnerable Ugandans. But you can be surprised that someone requires to first have saved over 300,000.
Yes, so what does it take you, Bosco, starting today to actually start encouraging those young people to save up the 300, so in the next 3 months, so that next year they can be able to benefit from the program?
I can do it to the youth who are already doing something at hand. I can't start something for the youth to earn the other 300,000 which is required of them to join to those programs.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the brain drain. So many young people have opted to go to the diaspora.
But there is something I want to correct, because you know, I monitor the implementation of government programs in the district. And first of all, for PDM, there is no saving up to the 30% you are talking about. That one is only in a Myoga. In fact, the PDM arrangement came to benefit especially those ones within the agricultural value chain. That's one. Then number two, the target is the 39% of Ugandans who are still in subsistence agriculture. Those ones who work, the president normally calls it for Echidachonka. Those who work for the stomach. And that is the group we are targeting. And we are not telling them to save, not even to buy share. or share to compute towards share capital. No, we are sending a grant, capitalization grant, right, which is not refundable to government, but they can the SACCO can lend it out at a very moderate interest rate, maybe 6%. And there is also a committee, to oversee the implementation, and that committee has the youth leaders.
So Henry, this is my task to you. Henry,
it passes through LC to chairpersons.
Henry,
now, if you don't know, the composition is like this.
This is the task that I have for you.
The chairperson. No, let me correct this.
An RDC, this is my task to you. Clearly, the young people are grappling with information, access to
and
information.
And you can even see
the gap here. So this is my task to you as the RDCs. Would you please sit together and actually help the young people?
Are they willing to learn?
Are
they willing to learn? Or they are in politics?
Let's go to the immigration of highly talented, trained and qualified young people going to, diaspora for greener pastures. Yet we have such opportunities here. We do have these programs that they can benefit from here. In your capacity, how can we attract them to stay here than go to the diaspora in the future?
No, I think we need, first of all, to, as we said, the sensitization. I've interacted with very many young people, those who want to go out. Somebody is running a small restaurant. Somebody is running a kiosk of mobile money. Somebody is running something. Then somebody comes to you, sir, I want to go to the Middle East. Then you ask the person, who is going to run this business of yours? Says, I'm earning little. When I go out, I can get something in lump sum and then come and do investment. So you can see. And at times I've been telling them, no. Outside,
of which you get a lot of money from the diaspora.
Outside, to the economy. Especially these ones who go to what they call Viyumba. I've heard that term, Viyumba, those who go to work as maids. They're earning around 900,000. So I've been telling them, now, your small business is getting you this per day. If you can save it, you may find that at the end of the month, you're having almost what the other person is earning. And yet you can still stay with your family, you can stay with your friend, you can have peace, you see. But some of them say, no, when I go, at least 2 months I can, because I will not be touching that money.
Which is equivalent to saving.
You see? So I think because they cannot save daily, they feel when they are there, because the hands are tied, you have something to eat, you can now say, I'm saving. But some of them have even come back to me, even those who are there. Somebody comes back to you, says, I sent money for my brother or to my mother or to my so-and-so to buy a plot for me, and somebody ate the money. I also have those cases I'm handling. So I think for me, we need to do, first of all, we cannot stop people from going out. You see, because that is their constitutional right. Maybe as a government, and this comes to us, as a government, I think we need to put up measures. We accredit these companies that take the youth out, the exporters, these exporters of labor. They are both foreign and domestic. So I think what we need to do, we should task them to account on a yearly basis. Account.
The status of the people they've taken
you
out.
Took how many people to Middle East? You took how many people to this country? You took how many people to this country? Then out of those ones you have taken, how many have got issues? So if your company all of the time is the one producing these issues we are hearing, then we should say stop, because you cannot monitor. I think as government we need to do that.
Bosco, this affects the future of Uganda, by the way, because if these youth keep going out, one day we shall be priding of them, but they'll be in the diaspora.
And some of them go through trafficking.
So as a youth leader, what are you doing to avert this situation?
Mr. Chitambula is only talking about those who actually first lose hope in their small businesses, but there are those who are experienced in certain fields, those who are educated, those who are graduates who leave this country and go look for green pasture in different countries. They are doctors in Rwanda, they are doctors in Kenya,
and those ones have
they are
no
doctors
issues
in other countries. We are not talking about that. I think there are issues that need to be sort of seriously in the employment industry.
So what do you think is attracting them to there that we don't have
issues
here?
like ethnicity? We need to develop mindset. I mean, we need to develop a character of employing people basing on their characters, not their background, where you come from.
Still the background can contribute to character. Maybe qualifications.
One of my friends went to ask for a job in a certain institution. He was well qualified, he had everything. It takes him to access a job in that office. But they granted a job to someone he knew
which is common in the system everywhere. It's not limited
what
to
I think those are some of the matter that we need to solve, and maybe we will have our people employed basing on their capacities, basing on why they know better, not where they come from.
All right, thank you so much, Bosco, and thank you so much, Deputy RDC Henry, for insights into youth involvement as far as building the nation of Uganda is concerned.